I heard that you're better now, hiding out in a seaside town. Always knew what I wanted reflected back to me. A life like mine kept me wondering if you are coming back. And I miss you in the winter with the windows down, a dazzling fire and a tarnished crown. Are you coming back? Holding on to you is like holding on to smoke. You drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I go. You know it all. How you wrapped around my mind. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. Walls I built all tumble down, barriers of a heart I found, and I want it back. I let you in, kept you company, gave until I couldn't breathe. Do you remember that? Holding on to you is like holding on to smoke. You're drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I fall. You know it all. How I gave you what I had, I gave it all. But you let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. 'Cause holding on to you is like holding on to smoke. You're drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I call. You know it all. How you wrapped around in my mind. You let me fall. 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 I go down to the river and I think about the things that I've done wrong. Things that I've done wrong. Shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have said this. If I hadn't, you wouldn't be someone I miss. And all of the tables, they keep turning. All the rope I held is burning, and I know I shouldn't have let go. And my hands are getting tired, but I started this fire. And my hands are getting tired, but I started this fire. I walk along the water and I see my reflection in the lake. And in my mind I paint a picture, all the roads that I walked with you. I can't help but wonder where I went wrong. Shouldn't have said this, did I mean it? Would I open up and plead for it? My talk about how everything changed, how the trees grew over the path we paved. Ooh, I'm tired now. Ooh, don't you know that? Don't you know that my hands are getting tired? I started this fire, and my hands are getting tired. I started this fire.
You feel me? Yeah. You feel me? Nah, that's real. Keep it on West Coast, cause I feel like we cats don't show us the love out here. Dago, putting on for the town. Tell me about it.
Him so much. Him so much.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the final nights of our streaming schedule, and we're happy you're spending it with us. And we're happy we're going to take a look at our COD Acad team as they're fighting for the final spot, the final game, the final championship of their season, and it's going to be a good one tonight. COD Acad versus Cumberland. My name is Evan, and not really Evan Johnson, joined by Hayden Fazer King. Hayden, it's been a while since we've had you on the desk, and especially for Call of Duty. So thanks for stepping in tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be back. It feels like it's only fitting that you and I, we graduated from our program here, and we get to reunite one final time here on Call of Duty, kind of all where it began for both of us last year.
Well, definitely for me, because I think Well, I guess it would work for you. The first broadcast we would have done last year, I think it would have been a Call of
Mine
Duty
was Call of
stream.
Duty. Yeah.
Nah, that would have been Varsity. So I mean,
Yeah,
not like
little
truly
different.
full circle, but I guess in a way it is sort of a
Yeah.
full circle moment for us, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But we'll focus on the game right now. Like we said, we've got the Acad team going up against Cumberland's Acad team, and if you've been sort of following along with our teams playing in NACE, this is actually a mirror matchup of the Varsity Grand Finals,
Yeah.
where St. Clair ended up beating Cumberland in a sweep. That was a 4-0 in a best of 7. So I think the ACAT team are hoping to do one better tonight and get this one done in a sweep fashion. But we'll see.
I think they want to kind of live up to the expectations here that we've set at St. Clair, right? They've already been able to beat Cumberland once today in a grand finals over in the Varsity Premier Division. So really nice to hopefully see them do it again here in the Varsity Plus division. A best of 5 set though, not that best of 7 LAN experience that the Premier boys were able to do to have. But I think you still have an opportunity here to take home a championship.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like maybe it should have been a best of 7 for tonight, but hey, it doesn't matter as we're here, and I think it's going to be exciting either way. This St. Clair lineup got J. Will on stage right now, joined by Frags, Zarin, and Awesome Santee. I mean, Zarin, there he is. Zarin just taking a seat. I think he might be one of the ones to really keep an eye on. Former coach as well. I think just having him in is such a solid voice to have in the server. And Frags, in sort of the foreground of your screen here, looking at Santee right now. But we did get a look at Frags because he got called up 1 week to play with the varsity team.
Yep.
And he really impressed us. I mean, it was like they didn't even skip a beat. He fit into that roster and lineup so well. Really expecting him to be the big difference maker, the X factor for the ACAT team tonight.
Yeah, I think Frags, he feels like the heavy hitter on the team. But I like what you said about Zarin. I think his experience, both as a player and as a coach, it brings a lot of value to the team, especially in a game mode maybe like Search and Destroy, where it's a bit of a slower pace, right? You're able to kind of talk things through a bit more. Those, respawn game modes, your overloads, your hard points, those are a bit more fast paced. You're not getting like true strategy breakdowns or maybe a talk about the other team's mental or your mental. But I do like the voice that Zarin brings, and obviously Santee and Awesome Santee and J. Will, they bring their own kind of set of skills. And we were talking with Rihanna a little bit earlier, and while they were scrimming, and Rihanna was talking about Santee was having a wonderful day in scrims. So hopefully he can translate that over here into this grand finals.
I think the last time we had the ACAD team on the stream, I think it was Patrick and I doing it. I think Santee actually was the series MVP, if I'm remembering correct. So if he can tap into some of that we've seen, what is possible earlier this season, I think they're going to have a good day. But obviously we can't talk about this without mentioning Cumberland. This is another roster that's been doing very, very well. They come into the playoffs as the number 1 seed. We'll sort of break that down in a second as to why there's, maybe a little pause for that. But at least as of last week, this roster of Sprafty, Louise, Zip, and JT Solo. But Rihanna was also saying that this team is a very deep bench, so this might not be exactly the roster that we see. There's a potential for some players maybe subbing in, but at least on paper, this is a team that's been doing very well. 12-3 across the whole season, coming into playoffs as the 1 seed, like we said. But the last time St. Clair and Cumberland played this season, it was a St. Clair sweep. It was Swiss, so it was only a best of 3s, but it was a 2-0 sweep at that. So Rihanna was saying that they're feeling confident about how they match up, and yeah, maybe the seeding isn't really accurate in terms of skill level. Saints coming in as the 4 seed, but Hayden, why don't you kind of break it down and see why this might not be an accurate representation of skill?
Well, okay, we're going to need to bounce off each other here, because as far as I remember here, St. Clair is actually the 2 seed.
Technically.
But there are 2 separate brackets that are formed, and the 2 and well, theoretically, they would be the 3 and the 4 seed would have been put into the lower B bracket. Therefore, the Saints are actually 4 because those are the 3 and the 4 seed are the highest teams in the B bracket. Therefore, they're actually the 2 and the 3 seed. Therefore, St. Clair is the 4 seed, but they're actually a 2 seed. So it's a weird like it feels
It's
like
weird.
it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you look at it. But if you take a minute and you think about it, okay, they actually are the 2 seed. It's just the way that all the teams have been seeded and split into 2 separate brackets. They end up as the 4th seed.
I think the other thing that's weird as well is that, we mentioned Cumberland coming in being 12-3.
Yeah.
St. Clair actually had a better record
They did.
than them this season. They
Yeah.
came in 14-1. And technically, I mean, you would also have the tiebreaker against Cumberland since you defeated them in Swiss. So I think it is interesting that St. Clair, maybe is, you don't want to say disrespected, but, I don't think they've really been placed correctly in the seeding. You could probably argue that they should be even the number 1 seed in this one. Now, Rihanna was also saying that, this could also come down to map differential and point,
Yep.
On maps. So if that's the case and that's how
It
NACE
is
is,
what it is.
obviously that makes sense.
It
but
is what it is.
I think
yeah.
when you at least look at it on paper, the Saints team might be coming in punching a little bit above their weight as a 4 seed, and I think I probably would give them just a little bit more of a heavy favor, maybe not a heavy favor, but I definitely would favor them, I think, in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen Acad on stream a few times this semester, and they played well. It feels like every time. It feels like we really haven't seen them struggle too much. Now, they did play Durham in their last match, and that was all 5 matches. That was all 5 games. So they've definitely been through a little bit of adversity in the last, I would say week or so. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they've taken those lessons from Durham. We talked about a little bit here about their hard point. Their hard point was not super strong in that series against Durham. So if they can, like you said, get off to a strong start on that game mode, I think this series should be wraps pretty quick.
Yeah, I think, and even when we talk about Varsity, that really is where everything gets started, right? That's where the tone gets set in Hardpoint. Obviously, with Varsity, it's a little bit different just because of how dominant they are. Like let's be honest. Like, whenever we do a Varsity COD stream, we expect them to win in 3-0 fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. That's the luxury of, having such a great team like that. And, I mean, when you win, 5 consecutive NACE titles, I mean, that's
What else are you supposed to expect?
well, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are pro players you're talking about.
Yeah.
But even the Acad team, I mean, 14-1, very quietly having a strong season as well. And I think they've worked on that hard point since, we saw them scrim hard point a lot. I think it was hard point on Gridlock we were watching them play. And they looked very dialed in. And who knows, maybe this Durham team, because it was a 4 and a 5 matchup, this Durham team probably one of the better ones in this bracket, so they knew it was going to be a tough matchup. But I think when you're at least looking at Cumberland, they did take care of them pretty well in that hardpoint game. Now, that was a while ago. That was almost 2 months ago. A little bit of a different roster for Cumberland, but I still think you have that confidence just knowing that you've beaten this team before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to be at this point. I think seeding doesn't mean anything to you, right? You've made it this far. You're not an underdog at this point. You understand that you are a contender, a true contender here in the grand finals. So I think you just gotta play your game like you've been playing all season. You should be able to come out on top. And we could head on over, like you were talking about scrimming on hardpoint there. We can talk about our maps for this series. Hardpoint first, going to Scar as the first map. I kind of like that pick. I feel like I think it bodes well, and they go back to hardpoint potentially in match number 4, and that'll be on Gridlock, which we saw them scrimming on, and they looked good. So I think the maps here are good for St. Clair, and if, like we said, if they can kind of clean things up from their Durham series, this may not need to go to Gridlock.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Like we said, it starts on Hardpoint, and then you have Search and Destroy on Den, and then Overload on Exposure, which, I mean, that's a map we see the Varsity team really favor when it comes to Overload. So I think, like I said, this really is just map 1 dependent, I think. Like, that's really where it's going to be decided, I think, for me. Now, not saying that if for some reason they don't win Hardpoint, it's over from there, because I do think this team is still a very strong roster on a mode like Search and Destroy. Overload as well, has been very good thus far. Even in that Durham series, those 2 maps, they always won the Search and Destroy and the Overload. It was just the hard points that they couldn't take care of for some reason. So, if anything, they're going to feel good about those maps, which, does obviously make these hard point games a little bit more important. But I still think this does favor St. Clair. Probably maybe just to be safe, I'll say in 4, just because
I'm
going to respect the skill that Cumberland has and is going to be bringing to the table, but I still think we walk away with the victory here.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be interesting. I think we talked about it. I think frags is kind of the key to this series. So I wonder what the nerves are like out there. I mean, we didn't really get to interact too much with the players because they were scrimming, so we obviously couldn't have one-on-one conversations with them. But they seemed pretty dialed in. They didn't seem nervous. They didn't seem maybe afraid of what Cumberland Academy is kind of bringing to the table here. Rihanna seemed pretty confident. So it feels like they are ready for this, and they all looked pretty dialed in. I'm not gonna lie. We saw them. I don't know if that was a pub or a scrim right there, but they were kind of frying on those pubs right there.
It must have been some sort of a scrim. I think players are about to get into the lobby. It looks like they've stopped whatever scrim or whatever warm-up they were in.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be getting in very, very shortly. And like we said, we've kind of already given our predictions. I think St. Clair is going to come out on the other end of it. And yeah, would it be nice to go back-to-back? Well, no, I guess not back-to-back, but like technically you take both Varsity Premier and Varsity Plus potentially.
Yeah.
And Cumberland, I mean, that'd be pretty painful losing to St. Clair twice.
Yeah, I mean,
potentially.
You gotta try and get your get back if you're Cumberland, right?
Yeah.
You gotta try and at least take one in the Varsity Plus division, but it's gonna be an exciting series, I think, and it feels like you said, it's good for us, right? You and I, we get to cast some Call of Duty like we had really started here at St. Clair, and
yeah,
it's been a great 2 years, so it only feels fitting that we get to end it off on the title that started it all. It feels very ceremonious.
Yeah, I mean, it is, like you said, it is, at least for me, this is probably going to be my last St. Clair affiliated stream, not barring any like events that might be held here.
Yeah,
but
those are, yeah.
I think for like Saints Gaming, this is probably it for me. So, it is sort of bittersweet, I think, but, we don't have to worry about that just yet. We still have at least a series.
We still have a series to
we
get
still
through.
have a series to get through. So, it's not doom and gloom just yet, but
No. Happy thoughts, and that's what they gotta think, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they gotta be thinking that as well. You can't be doom scrolling right now. We got a game to get.
I
to.
can respect that about this team, the Acad team.
Discipline.
Rihanna keeps them in check. They're never really on their phones. They're locked in. I was talking with Rihanna yesterday because she was just curious about when the stream was live and what the call time was, and she said, "Oh, what team's gonna probably be there all day." And they were here when I got here at 6 o'clock. So they were here at least a few hours early. I'm sure they were here earlier. There were food bags and such around. So they've been scrimming and warming up for this match. So they are prepared, disciplined, ready to roll. I think they're just sorting out some lobby, issues or invites.
Looks like we're waiting on one Cumberland player.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's always the other team.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when it feels like we always host when we do these streams. We set up the Valorant lobbies. We join the COD.
Get everything going.
We join through the COD team. Join on the Overwatch guys. They have the lobby set up, but it's gonna be a good series. And honestly, it feels weird because I'm casting this and I have not casted a Black Ops 6 or 7 match before.
Well, I have good news for you.
It's very
still,
similar.
It's still Call of Duty. Just a little bit of a different,
facelift,
coat of paint.
Yeah.
They've been bringing some stuff back. I mean, we were talking about Gridlock.
Maps, yeah.
We were. This was a hot debate. Was Gridlock from Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3? I'm fairly confident.
If you know, type it in chat.
Yeah, type a 3 for Black Ops 3. Type a 4 if it was Black Ops 4. It looks like it.
And Fringe.
Okay, well, I think I know the answer.
Fringe was also on
I love
map
Fringe
too, right?
Fringe is a good one.
What was that from?
Black Ops 3.
That was 3.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Fringe was. That was a really good one. That was. I think that Black Ops 3 map pool was just really, really good. There were a lot of really solid maps.
I don't remember.
I think you don't remember? Man, those Black Ops 3 days were special.
Black Ops 1 and 2. Those were my peak.
I had the
3. I just played a lot of custom zombies.
I had the Black Ops 3 PS4.
Oh,
back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like
I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with your game.
It was like a little bit darker of a shade of black than the default PS4. It had the 3 on it. And then you got like a custom controller. I think I still have it. I could probably look it up. I mean, we're just waiting right here.
Yeah,
so
we're just waiting.
We're just waffling.
We've given our predictions. I think, St. Clair, like we said, they have to be feeling pretty confident. I think they're about to go in here. They look like they're ready. Frags is adjusting the headset. Oh, that is pretty nice. Chat can't see it. Our viewers can't see it, but it's a very nice controller.
Imagine a PS4
A gray
controller
PS.
that's mostly gray, and then like the D-pad and then the joysticks are like bright orange.
We're locked.
And then there's like a little 3 on like the grip.
Oh, the grip. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it there.
And then that's
It's nice.
that served me well for a long time,
Yeah, PS4 is a great console.
man.
It is,
And I feel
It's
like
an
we've
all-timer.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I feel like we've taken a step back from
Whoa.
the PS4. I don't know. It's like I like the PS5, but I like never use it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same.
Yeah.
I think they're getting locked in here. They're getting locked in. They've all sat up. Looks like they're ready,
Here
and
we go.
we are ready as well. Game number 1 in this best of 5 set between St. Clair and Cumberland. Starting out here on Scott.
Jay Will, he's going to be first on site for St. Clair, and he's going to be dodging lots of gunfire, but he's doing his due diligence, and, you know, you don't need to really fight for any of these engagements. You're trying to get the score up. Going to lose that first fight, but Santee right there to get St. Clair, you know, still getting progress on the board, but Cumberland, they've been rotating in decently well, finding their picks. St. Clair, they're just better at trading out with their teammates.
Yeah, I think it's important. Zaren's just been locking down the site, aware of the player behind him. Is going to get traded out, though, and Frags is nearby the point. Santee going to try and catch one of these Cumberland players in the rotation. Cumberland finally going to get onto the board now. Their first single point as the hard point is looking to move over. Zaren fighting on top of this balcony position. Almost able to find another frag. Cumberland, though, they are going to get a foothold here onto point number 2, and St. Clair, they're going to have to break their way in.
This is going to be a tough one to break into. I'm surprised that Cumberland has put up more trophy system as Zaren, his util is going to be able to find its way through, and the rest of the team crashed their way in the site. So Cumberland, they get a couple points, but St. Clair already rotating back in as Jay Will. He will fall, but Frags is still there, just getting bombarded right now by flashes. Does finally fall. There's only so much you can really stave off as your defender, but you know he does his job at just delaying for as long as possible. And St. Clair now gonna get some players rotating. I think they might be thinking about just moving on to this next potential point and just conceding this hard point for the time being.
Well, 3 frags on the board for St. Clair there. They are going to secure maybe a couple more seconds here on this second point. JT, meanwhile, on Cumberland is going to find a 5 streak, and this point is going to rotate over by the crashed plane here. They will bounce up on the wall, but unable to find the frag, and Zaren just kind of has to wait for his teammates to respawn as they spread back on out to try and attack this 3rd point.
Yeah, I think Jay Will might have overcooked a little bit there. I liked where your head's at, you know, just trying to get the extra movement tech to put you in a better position, but I think just that little bit just gets your crosshair not exactly in the right position you want to be, and because of that, you're not able to clean it up, but thankfully he's there, and he's good to find a couple more picks as St. Clair back in the lead, but Cumberland dipping at the heels of St. Clair. They are definitely putting up a good fight so far in map number 1.
Yeah, this is what you want to see in the grand finals. 52-50. Point number 3. Feels like as soon as one team kind of gets their foot down on a hard point, the other one is able to make themselves known. Jay Will finds one, finds a second onto JT, moves up onto the point, has the pistol out, has to know they're nearby, unable to find the 3rd. A good effort from Jay Will right there. Luis, though, able to back him up, and Cumberland now taking a 64-57 lead. St. Clair, they have to find something here on this next point.
This is the one you really have to hold. You have spawn advantage here as well, and you let Cumberland just kind of creep their way back into the series, and now you need to try and reestablish that dominance. Frags, he's hard scoping in that building, not going to see the guy on his other end. Unfortunately, you can't have peripheral vision in a video game like this, but it's okay as St. Clair over this. Jay Will once again trying to get a little fancy, but not going to happen. But just Santee, I mean, this is sort of the boring POV right here. Is he's just holding it down, but it's important. I mean, you do lose it, but I don't think Cumberland, even if they stay on the point for these remaining couple seconds, I don't think they'll be able to retake the lead. So St. Clair is still comfortable, but have to make sure you can secure point number 5. Looks like we do have 2 members over there already. Santee and Jay Will already getting in a good position to take over this next point.
Good work from St. Clair right there to clear out the Cumberland players on point number 4 and set themselves up for success here on point number 5. Frags is going to get caught out by Luis, though, and Zaren He's going to overextend and find himself at the mercy of 2 Cumberland players. Santi, good.
We just hear a cruise missile
Double.
come
I
down?
think there was. JT does get a kill with the cruise missile. 30-point lead now for St. Clair, and Cumberland going to try and chip away at that. And Jay Will able to get traded out by Zarin, and now he does have this high ground. Can he find any value? Unable to. Sprafty is good for one, Luis for another. Santi nearby, and trades back and forth. That's the name of the game here, and St. Clair, they just barely try and hold on to this point. The stun is coming in. Jay Will backed up by Santi on that point. St. Clair holding it down. A 25-point lead. Hardpoint is going to move back to this original first point. So far, so good for St. Clair.
I will say, despite the fact that Cumberland have done a good job at rotating back in and retaking the hardpoint, St. Clair, they've done a really good job at denying these last second points. Even if there's 10 seconds or 9 seconds left, those are still valuable points that you're getting. And I mean, frags, you're going to get a lot of value out of that. Look at that. We talked about this guy and how he's crazy. This could be next man up, potential future member of your varsity team, depending on how the roster is going to be constructed this year. This guy definitely has the stuff to make it at the varsity level, but the Acad team definitely happy that he's going to be hanging out with them. And we're going to have to put in a little bit of work now. Zarin is able to find Louise, but 2 going the way of Cumberland, and St. Clair still can't crack their way back into the site.
Zarin's just getting his head scalped right there as he's laying down on top of this balcony position. Has to know that there's somebody nearby. Oh my goodness, the timing was almost brutal there for Zarin, but he is able to find the frag, and Cumberland able to take just a 1-point lead, but St. Clair, they are entrenched here on this second point. Cumberland, though, trying to make their way in. Frags finds one, unable to find the second. The drop shot out of Zip is good, and as we were talking about St. Clair having a nice kind of padded lead, it looks like Cumberland has found their stride here, and Frags finds one, finds 2 of his own, knows the third player is up on this balcony. Nate is going to go out, flush him out, and Jay Will is good for that kill. St. Clair back onto the point. They know where Cumberland is coming from, and Frags is ready for him.
Yeah, they just really need to make sure that you do not die. This is such an important hold right now because, like you said, Cumberland, they've done a really good job at chipping away at this lead, and you can only hold them off for so long, especially in a closely contested mode as Jay Will. He's going to get things started. Thinking proactively, he's trying to get over to point number 3 right now. He's going to win this initial gunfight, but Cumberland's still doing a really good job at finding these trades when they need to and these refrags. That's the reason why they've been able to rotate so effectively.
Such an awkward timing for St. Clair right there. They rotated, I feel like, at the right time, but just because of the respawns, Cumberland, nice trigger discipline right there from Santi. This is a good hold.
This
is a good hold
right now.
This is a really good hold. Santi finds 2, but unable to find the third. Zarin is good for the trade, and now that lead is extended once more. They have to retake this point, though. Jay Will, Santi, they're going to be the first ones in. Unable to find too much.
Nice nade from Jay Will, but still not able to clear out the Phoenix from the point. P3 almost done. St. Clair looking to rotate back in. They are going to be able to get a couple more points near the end, but still definitely not in a comfortable position if you're St. Clair and Cumberland. You can see on the map, they're already swarming around P4.
Yeah, I think the one thing we haven't seen this game is Cumberland with a huge lead like St. Clair's. Oh my goodness, Jay Will, that was disgusting. A great turn onto that Cumberland player. Santi put some moves on, but unable to find it, and Cumberland has had this P4 this entire time. They have to make something happen. Frags, the stun nade, good damage in, but is able to follow through. Santi with his backup as well onto JT, and you have to get on this point if you're St. Clair. It has to be now. Perfect.
They timed that perfectly. Is right when they get in, Cumberland ties it. So St. Clair's still, just dancing through the raindrops right now, finding any way forward. Just showing a lot of resilience from this team is that even when Cumberland are able to fight their way back in, they are not giving up a single inch. But this next point becoming so important now if you're St. Clair to just get this lead over the edge. You've eclipsed the 200 mark, but you're still close if you're Cumberland. I don't know what Santi was doing. He was going on the old score streak, but it's okay as you clear out a couple members of Cumberland, but you do find the refrag though if you're Zip. Just not able to get past Santi because he is just turning it on right now, keeping St. Clair in this one as they slowly creep their way forward. If they can hold for the majority of this point, they're going to be in a really good position to win. And hey, they got the support of Rupert right there. I think that's all you can really hope for at this stage of the game.
Jay Will finds one onto Luis, and 2:20 now for St. Clair. Feeling pretty good. 20 seconds left on this point. I don't think even if they hold this entire time, they're not going to get to that 250 mark, so they have to be ready for this potential next point. 5 seconds now, and a little bit of a scare right there. Cumberland putting up a good fight, but it feels like St. Clair, they've really secured it here in game number 1.
We need 11 seconds on the hard point right now, and now it's just all systems go for St. Clair to get to the midpoint as fast as you can. Santi just going right into a huge crossfire set up from Cumberland. So now the respawns are going their way. Jay Will finds one, can't continue on to the second. Cumberland eclipses the 200 mark, but St. Clair, they just need to crack in, and they should be able to find the victory here. Frags, he can't even find it. Zip continuing to fry. Cumberland making this one really, really close right now. St. Clair, they can't find the way in. It's gonna be, I don't think Cumberland has a chance to win here. No win con, but they need to start farming right now. Frags finally breaking in for St. Clair. Is going to get the trophy down. Big investment.
That's it.
Big win. Sprafty falling for Cumberland. That is it. St. Clair, by the skin of their teeth, they come out and take hardpoint number 1.
Great work right there on game number 1 for St. Clair.
Oh, KP's there too.
Little scary right at the end, but I think they pulled through. They found their way, and hardpoint looking a little bit better here in the grand finals compared to last week.
I will say I do want to give Cumberland credit because they made it really, really difficult, especially near the end. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That last one, I mean, they were doing a really good job, you know, setting up insane crossfires, just making it so difficult for St. Clair to get back in. But who's the guy that makes it happen? It's Frags. Like we said, he's our X factor in this series tonight. And Santi as well. He was going absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
On that second to last point.
Yep.
I thought.
Yeah,
just
that nice double
really,
there.
really solid stuff. And it's nice to see that the boys are really firing on all cylinders early in the series. Clearly, all of that prep is paying off, and I think maybe Rupert and KB are offering some words of wisdom as well.
I think they were chatting it up right there. I think Rupert was on the headset right there. Oh, look at this. This is what you like to see here at St. Clair.
The varsity supporting the ACAD.
The varsity premier supporting the varsity plus, or the varsity supporting the ACAD. Great fist bumps from Rupert and KB right there to support the boys. Up 1-0 in this series. That's a good way to start. Like we had talked about, hard points, kind of a struggle there against Durham last week, and you and I, we both kind of leaned up. We were locked in on that very last point. It was a little close. Right after I had kind of said, you know what, it feels a little over.
And you know it's so funny because again, whenever we do these COD streams, we always expect it to be a Rins. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we really do because that's just the level of talent that we're used to. It is kind of nice to get into a series where, sure, we're predicting a St. Clair win, but at the end of the day, we really don't know. Like this, you know, really could go either way, all things considered. So I still don't think Cumberland is out of it yet. I think they do have potential to take a map. I think if they're going to take one, it's going to be this one, Search and Destroy. But if St. Clair can win it and then go to Exposure, a mode that seems like both teams have been doing well on, I think we can call it wraps right there.
Yeah, I think Cumberland, at least from my perspective, made that really, really close. I think it's going to make it a really interesting series now, and I think these S&D and Overload game modes have turned into a bit more of a toss-up compared to what I had originally thought. I originally thought it was going to be not necessarily a blowout, but it was going to be a comfortable win, right? Now, I'm not too sure. I think S&D could go the distance. It could go, what is it, up to 6, right? It's up to 6, 5? Is that
6
the
or
max?
7.
6 or 7?
Yeah,
okay, good one. Good one there, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll go the distance is what I'm getting across. And I think Overload also, that is up to 8.
Yes.
I'm confident in that.
Yes.
I don't think that'll be our classic 8-0 or 8-1. I think it'll be more of an 8-5 kind of thing.
8-5. Okay, that's
think
very
so.
specific prediction.
Hey, I'm
But hey,
feeling it.
we'll never know. I guess we will know soon.
We will.
But
We will.
We can speculate for now. I will say I'm remembering back to the last time we had Acad on. This was the Search and Destroy map they picked into.
Okay.
So I think this would be their map pick as well, which it is according to the list here. So clearly this is somewhere where St. Clair feels confident. I do think Den definitely favoring more of the I think it's the B side where you have the security office near the garage. I think it's the Patrick would know. Patrick memorized these
He's here in
maps.
spirit.
He's here in spirit. He's doing a gig with Seb Dot for FIFA E for Team Canada.
That's
so,
awesome.
So fly high, Patrick Smoke Chambers. He's doing some good work tonight. Obviously can't be with us, but hey, that's okay. We'll give him a shout out anyway. But regardless, Patrick would know. He would tell you all the
Give you the
routes
breakdown
and give you the
and
breakdown.
The perfect spawn.
He's been playing a lot of BO7. He's
That's
been
good.
sort of juggling He's been juggling 4 different games. We've been playing Siege. He's trying to dip his toes into Counter-Strike. He's playing Rocket League still. I mean, he's just doing it all right now.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to know the ins and outs of each title that
It's true.
You're casting. So
And he wants to learn Valorant better.
couldn't be me.
No,
But
I
you
think
got to do what you got to do.
I think D&D from the Acad team is going to be teaching him.
Oh,
I think that's what he told me.
that's like a good
It's the
Saints.
word on the street.
That would be a good Saints content piece as we head
That
on
would
into
be.
game
Hey,
number 2 here.
If anyone is
There we
watching
go.
from either the higher ups on the broadcast team or the marketing team, let's write some of these ideas down. I mean, I'm only good for so many at this point.
Hey, you did a lot. You did a lot this year.
I don't think he's going to get cleared out.
Unable to find it. Santi, though.
Santi.
Good trade. Onto Zarin. Sprafty finds it onto... Oh, that was Sprafty in the corner onto Zarin. So now it's a 3v2 for St. Clair. Some shots ringing in through...
It's a nasty crossfire they have set up right
Yeah.
now.
They're able to get this bomb down. That's going to put pressure onto Cumberland. Push in to this site. Sprafty and Zip. Final 2 members remaining. Frags in the corner, not cleared out. That looks like it's going to be the Saints first, and there it is. Well done from St. Clair Academy there.
That's just tough if you're Cumberland. You lose 2 guys right off the start. I think you had a good idea with this flank, but you don't have any util to try and break back into the site, and you just have this crossfire set up from St. Clair, and it's just so hard to break back in with habits. And this is why we said, you pick into this one. Clearly you have a favorite map for Search and Destroy. They know how they want to play it. And if you technically get one on the weaker side, quote unquote, I think that's a good sign for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think they definitely feel comfortable in this map particularly. I mean, like you said, we've seen them play it before, and they kind of have a good understanding of how they approach the attack and the defense here. Santi, shots ringing out towards his side. Oh my goodness, the wall bang. He's able to barely escape with his life. Meanwhile,
Smoke down.
J-Will and Zarin are into the mid. Luis finds the first blood onto Santi, and trades flying through. Cumberland in the man advantage. J-Will needs to find this kill, but player is going to retreat. JT's going to hop on out of there. The bomb is going to go down, and Cumberland looks to secure their first.
I don't think this is impossible of a retake for St. Clair. They're going to go all the way around the world back towards this dojo side to try and break in. Maybe that's the call. I mean, Cumberland, they've been watching it so heavily, and you can't find the wall bang. I think that might be the kiss of death right there, unfortunately. Zarin in a really tough spot right now. He's just going to get pounced on, and Cumberland, they do find their first, but definitely a good attempt from St. Clair. They just couldn't get the shots in the land when they needed them to.
Yeah, I think it's more interesting this way, honestly. I think the fight that these two teams are showing from both sides, it really feels like a game of momentum, which is important here in your grand finals. You got to build up the story, the atmosphere. St. Clair back onto the attack. More success on that side here on Den. So
And both teams win their attack round, too.
yeah. So maybe it's the key to the game is first one to hold the defense, right? I mean, if you could... Oh, there we go. Okay, J-Will finds 2 of his own.
That's going to open B pretty
Yep.
wide.
Smoke's going to go down. Santi's going to get the plant in. And Sprafty, though, he's in the mid area here. He's going to toss a nade and make things awkward for St. Clair. Frags hasn't cleared out Zip just yet, but he does have this angle on Sprafty. That's going to cut him off. Uh-oh, backstab might come in. Zip finds one, but Santi is good for the trade, and Frags just has to secure this one. He does. 2-1 for St. Clair.
Really good job from Frags and Santi to hold that one down. And again, it's so tough when you're trying to retake and you just know where you just don't have positioning right there. But Frags, the wallbang does come through this time for St. Clair. So another round going to the attacking team. And I think your assessment was right. I think whoever can find this first round on defense is going to have a better chance. And for St. Clair, if it's going to be you, if you can win on the defense right now, you're going to be up. Well, you'll be up 3-1, but I think that's just a big momentum swing as well.
It shows that you are, I think both of these teams are they're hyper aggressive, especially towards this B site. Like you said, it's so important. It's like the one that teams prefer a little bit, and here comes Luis. Like we said, this attacking side seems to be one to watch here. Zarin just walks by JT, unable to clear him out. Leaves J-Will into the clutch here. The wallbang's coming through. Too much damage onto him already, and Cumberland gonna tie this one up 2-2. Like I said, Evan, we got a barn burner on our hands here over on Den.
Yeah, it's such a tough spot, like that dojo side. I mean, I guess that's the way they sort of balance it, where sure, this one might be easier to attack. You have the safety of security, but all these soft walls on dojo, if you're the defense, it's so tough. Do you either gamble with the wall bang or do you go on the other side that's a little bit more telegraphed? But St. Clair, I mean, they did everything right. They predicted the site that Cumberland was going to attack. They've hit B both times, but just can't get it done, unfortunately. They're going to run it again. Looks like St. Clair, two-man split, 2-2. Going to be shading more towards B, or maybe 3 as you leave J-Will over in mid, maybe trying to find a lurker for Cumberland, but trophy set up now. Zarin, going to be your bomb carrier. Smoke out on dojo. He should be able to get the plant down as well.
Curious about that mid.
Or not.
Zarin's going to get taken out. The diffuser in his hand. Santi, you have to move up. You got to clear right behind you, brother. There's one right to your left. Oh, my goodness. You got to be careful. Wait. Unable to find it. Luis just gets traded out.
Almost disastrous.
Feels like a slow game of Valorant or Counter-Strike. Through the smokes, you're waiting for your opponent. They're just standing right next to each other. Luckily, the Saints able to come out on top right there, and once again, the attacking team prevails.
And thank God, whoever was on Cumberland, who was just like right next to Santi,
didn't
just turn around and see there was someone next to him right away. I mean, the timing certainly benefiting St. Clair there.
Well, loop-de-loop.
And I mean, good to also get that done after you can't get the bomb down. Zarin, in a tough spot, can't get it done. That's a good sign, but job's not finished yet. Like you said, it's only been the attacker's side that has gone through. And now Cumberland. Heavy A presence right now. Like you said, you might be able to find this lurker on B, but Zip, that frag just cooked a little too good.
Not only is that going to put St. Clair Academy in a man disadvantage, it's going to force them to rotate and lose a little bit of time getting over to this A bomb site. Zip. Oh my goodness. Zip was waiting on that flank, and awesome Santi able to trade out frags. Zarin and Santi have to work together here, but they aren't aware of Luis back in that corner position. Zarin now in the 1v2. Any magic in the back pocket for Zarin. Unable to find it. Cumberland, a back and forth battle here, 3-3 on Den.
And that map is won, or that round is won by Cumberland because they replace who they lost in that armory room. And St. Clair, they just didn't think they would run it twice, and they didn't clear it out. I think maybe if they're able to check that, you could win that gunfight, and maybe that becomes a little bit more realistic. But unfortunately, not meant to be. Once again, the attacking side, clearly the one to be on right now. This is definitely going to be coming down to the wire on Search and Destroy, but it's just putting more pressure on these attack teams, because if you blink, if you're the first team to blink, you're already giving the next team an advantage.
J-Will's already damaged a little bit here in the mid. Kind of of like the way that Cumberland set this up. They don't think St. Clair is going to go back towards this B site. Oh, no,
wait a minute.
Sprafty. It's going to
Could
cost.
be the blessing.
It could be the blessing that St. Clair needs here for their fourth. You are right. Frags in this corner position. Has to find one. Is good for one. Santi as well. Finds him. Zip in the 1v3. Time not in his favor. Does find the headshot though. On to Zarin. Makes things a little bit more doable. J-Will though, aware of his position. Has the flank, but no need. Santi able to clean it up, and St. Clair take their fourth.
Hey, I mean, I don't know what happened to Sprafty. I mean, clearly some mistakes were made. We'll never know, but again, St. Clair will take it. I mean, you just, you know.
You'll take, hey, a gift is a gift.
Exactly.
You're not gonna deny a gift here,
No.
and especially on a map that's been so back and forth. St. Clair able to hold their lead at 1 and potentially on the defending side. This, I think, is the true turning point right here.
Yeah.
I think if St. Clair can hold them here, that puts them obviously at match point. But Cumberland feels like they are so close to breaking through and kind of gaining a little bit of momentum here. Back towards the B site.
It was kind of like how Hardpoint ended. I mean, ooh, Santi, nasty angle to find Sprafty, and St. Clair now with numbers. Cumberland, they're faltering, but J-Will, he's going to try and get a handle on this thing proactively. This could backfire if he doesn't find one, and he doesn't. So now Cumberland, they stave off this aggression from St. Clair, and they're going to try and get this rotate through, but...
Might go back.
And that's exactly right. Like you said, you can't fall for this potential fake. If you're St. Clair, you do have Zarin in this connector spot here. I think he's going to be first man on to call this.
He's going to get traded out regardless. I think this bomb goes down regardless if you're Cumberland. Oh, no. Oh, no. They've rotated out completely, and now Luis is going to get this bomb down. Santi's going to call that it's not on A. It's indeed back towards B. 3v2 retake now for St. Clair.
Well, I think you just have to play this smart, right? Like, you can't try and overextend or get too fancy with how you retake this. Try and get simple trades. If you have util, you don't want to use it. You would assume that someone's closer to the security side. Frags is going to get a look. Is good for one and transfers on to the second. Big-time play from Frags. The defense finally finds one.
I think surely Frags was assisted there by a fellow Saint right there. That was a pretty crazy flick for and a very minimal amount of shots. Have to, maybe get a rewatch on that. I'm surely that's the play of the match, play of the round. That's
hey, like you said,
clutch.
that's the turning point right there.
Yeah.
So you just get a little bit of a footing on the defense, and you're already setting yourself up for match point. And for St. Clair, you've been very successful on the attack. Now is the time to plunge the dagger.
Yeah, you're 4 for 4 on attack, so can't falter here. J-Will able to find one onto Zip. It's going to open things up around the map. Santi as well. It's a 4v2 for St. Clair. Got to be feeling good here. JT, this is a strong spot though. If he's not cleared out. Oh, JT finds one onto J-Will. Now, Saints are going to chase. Not worried about this bomb. JT finds great value. Makes it a 2v1. Luis, though, left to his lonesome on this A site. St. Clair, they're going to think the better here and go towards B.
And I think this is the right call.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that Luis has to be in the area, probably in a tough angle, and the smart play is to rotate, and Luis doing the same thing. And you have Zarin sort of on this flank watch. Does hear the shots. Bomb is going to go down. Zarin got to try and get the clutch here. Bomb is down, but in the 1v1.
Oh, no, he didn't get the bomb.
Bomb?
He didn't get it down.
Oh.
Just barely denies it.
And for Zarin, I mean, you got to make a decision here. I
no.
mean, this is going to be really tight. I mean, you have to try and make the decision. He's going to swing out, and Zarin not able to get it done. Cumberland, they went down in a 2v4, and they came out with the win.
Give it up to JT. That was crazy value that he found just hiding underneath the window there. Able to find one, escape with his life. I'm really curious to see what the call was or what the decision was to chase after him. I mean, you retake that window position. Your player can sit underneath the bomb, plant, have the guy from window watch the doorway on the other side, right? I feel like the smart play there would have been to plant the bomb and make Cumberland have to play around the time. You still had the 3v2 advantage, but instead you give it into a 2v2, and from there Cumberland is just able to close it out and make this interesting. 5-4 now as we head on into round number 10.
And you've chosen incorrectly on where to place your troops right now, as it's an A hit, and St. Clair on the outside looking in. JT, ooh, that's a tough angle. He's not gonna find anything there, and St. Clair gonna clear it out. Oh, but Santi
Oh my gosh.
screwing up the grenade toss, so no util to clear that out. Frags though, he's trying to find some value in that headshot, just too good. But look at this zip. He's gonna fall off the map, but JT just farming right now. Back in a 1v1 now. JT and J Will. And it's going to be JT coming out on the other side of it. That's two clutch scenarios that St. Clair have let slip through their fingers in consecutive rounds, and it all comes down to this final one.
Props to JT right there. I mean, that's a fantastic round. Fantastic 2 rounds in a row for him to really pull this back from the depths, and now it's one final
This is
round
it. Yeah,
to
this is
decide it all here. There's no win by 2. It's not your typical
This is
typical
it.
shooter. This
St.
is
Clair's on defense.
Can you do it 2 times in a row?
I mean, I think if anyone's going to do it, it's St. Clair, but this opening pick, so important. Frags, getting util out already. J Will in mid. Going to trade some shots out, but Cumberland is ready for this. This util going to be huge to try and make some players rotate. Not going to find anybody with frags. Look at this, in a real good spot for a lurk, and he is good to find Zip, so it was messy, but he got it done. Zarin, he's going to hightail it out of there. Let Cumberland just take the space, eats the stun. And now St. Clair, early man advantage, but you can't overextend just yet. Have to wait for trades, and Frag's just not in the right position to pick up the one onto JT, but Santi still getting it done. Frags now, and Sprafty, finally St. Clair win the clutch. It was really, really close, but St. Clair finally break through at the very end.
Exhale. We saw Frags exhale right there. It's a little nervous right at the end. St. Clair, they are able to go up 2-0 in this series. Whew. I mean, you can't get much closer than that.
3 rounds in a row that end on a 1v1. All in like win scenarios.
You cannot ask for anything more. You cannot ask for anything better in a grand finals.
Man, I mean, props to Frags. I mean, he just, hell of a shot right there to get it done. I mean, that's just ice cold right there. And for St. Clair, you need that. I mean, you're up 2-0 going into overload. Another move that you've done so well, and I think you've already set yourself up well for the rest of it, because if for some reason you drop overload, you go back to hardpoint, which you played very, very strong, and if for some reason you can't win hardpoint, you've already beaten them on search earlier, so who's to say you can't get it done there? But we'll worry about exposure first. That's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
For overload, I think this one, I mean, this might be a St. Clair 3. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but
It definitely seems. I mean, that's a huge backbreaker for Cumberland.
Yeah.
You just gotta feel for them. Like,
do everything right, and
you were down, and you make a great comeback. JT with just a great individual performance right there for the Cumberland team, and fall just short on round number 11. But like you said, overload, it feels like potentially anyone's game. Feels like St. Clair, they've had their moments, but they've been a little shaky in this series at times, like we saw there on Search and Destroy and at the end of Hardpoint. So Cumberland can start anything. I think overload is the game mode to do it in.
I think this one definitely benefits a more aggressive play style. Like for St. Clair, I mean, this is an aggressive team. I mean, it's very similar to, the Varsity team in the fact that they play off of aggression. They play off of momentum, and they can rotate so quickly. But But, you know, it'll be a good one. I mean, I think we're just waiting a little bit. I'm not sure what, you know.
A little break between map 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That never hurt anybody. I think it's important. I mean, I think it kind of benefits Cumberland, I think, a bit more. It lets you kind of mentally reset after what feels
Yeah,
like
I think you might need it.
it feels like two kind of short stops right near the end of those first 2 maps. They felt like maybe the momentum on Hardpoint was swinging in their favor on that very last point, just unable to get it, and especially there on Search and Destroy, tying it up. I think a mental reset is good, but also for the Saints, it allows them to cool down. I feel like a high stakes Search and Destroy like that feels like you know, you kind of have this time to relax after an intense.
I mean, hey,
an intense game there.
Not for very long, because
No.
we heard that players are actually going back to their stations. We thought they were going to be taking a little bit more of a reset, but not meant to be. Players are back. I think St. Clair, you've got the momentum now. Why pump the brakes? Just try and ride that into overload. And again, if you can come out swinging here like we've seen them be on a map that you're comfortable with, and the varsity team has also given them, you know, help with. We've seen frags on overload with varsity, and we know that he can definitely perform. So I think this one definitely benefiting, but again, you just have to get out there and execute.
I think one thing we did talk about. I mean, we did mention like frags being elevated, right, to that one game. What was it? Did they play Conestoga in that game?
I think so.
I think it was Conestoga that he got elevated and played with the boys on the varsity premier team. I think that just gives so much value and so much experience to a player like that. You play against competition that, frankly, in that varsity premier division is honestly probably better, right? So
Yeah.
you're able to come back, you learn so much from them, and I mean, they talk all the time. We see the COD guys; they're interactive. I
Yeah.
mean, we saw it literally here on stream. Rupert and KB watching over them on that hard point. I think that experience is invaluable, and Frags has really shown it here in this series that he wants it.
And it's just nice to see the support
Yeah.
as well from the other teams. You know, it means a lot, I think, to all the players involved, that the bonds are so tight. And I think clearly it shows that for our Call of Duty team, it is so tight-knit, right? It does seem like a very, very strong built, you know, core on all sides, you know, not just varsity going into Acad as well. So I think this would definitely be a cherry on top for St. Clair's Call of Duty season. The Acad team on the precipice of a championship, another one. First, yeah, just
as a wise man once said.
Hey, the trophy collection is getting big. We gotta get some more shelves set up for
Might need to.
for more of these trophies that we keep winning. But we won't get there yet, because, you know, we still have at least one more map to play, potentially 3.
Job's not finished.
Exactly.
Some would say.
Some would say.
Some would say.
The job is not finished, but St.
Here we
Clair
are.
looking to clock out early if they can take a win on Overload.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Man,
bud.
thanks.
That was a good one. Potentially, hey, I mean, you said it, not me. Potentially your final map casted
God.
here at St. Clair, an official Saints Gaming CA stream. JT's going to start off strong. Santi going to find the refrag, and this overload device right in the dab smack middle of the map. Looks like J-Will is going to pick it up and head towards this B.
Yeah, it's like they have a lane to go here. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as they can just secure these picks, frags with a dirty double right there. Zarin another. That should be point number 1 for St. Clair. J-Will with the touchdown.
Beautiful start for St. Clair Acad. Frags always communicating, always vocal. I think the most vocal member of this team, if I were to say. Definitely the loudest, which is good. Cumberland.
Nice shot, Zarin.
Yeah.
Hunk still got it.
Ankst. I don't know if he's going to like calling him Ankh on stream.
Sorry, Zarin, but
Santi finds 2 of his own. Overload device is going to get picked up. Have to get picked off here by Frags. He is able to find it. And going to grab it himself.
just run, brother.
Just
go the
run.
other way, brother.
Come on, man. Go towards me. No, I think Cumberland's got a good defensive setup here. They understand where
They do have the long angle
Yeah.
covered.
they have the long angle covered. I think St. Clair, they're wise to this. They're going to rotate over towards this A site. But JT, Sprafty near that mid position. Getting ready for it. JT already rotating over towards this A lane. And St. Clair, they're just going to take their time here. They're going to figure out a game plan, pardon me. Figure out a point of attack. And, oh, J-Will. I hope you're not just, oh.
I think
Uh-oh.
Something. I mean, hey, it's a St. Clair win, but I think something with the lobby clearly not right.
It wouldn't be a St. Clair COD
It
stream
wouldn't be a Call of Duty
without a
stream
little lobby reset. Come on. Come on. You know it's true. It had to happen. It's always bound to happen. We love CODcaster. We love Call of Duty lobbies. We love CODcaster here at St. Clair. It's our favorite thing to deal with on the prod side. I mean, you don't have to deal with it too much. You just get to wait for the delays.
Yeah. So here's my question, because we've already started and it's 1-0 Saints. I guess they just replay the map because you can't adjust score. I mean, I don't know if Cumberland just lets them take one to make it the same as the last scoreline. Like, I don't know how that would work in this situation.
I mean, I don't know. Did they just give them the?
Yeah, like, do you just give them one and then you just play on from there, or do you just?
Feels awkward because then you're
I
not.
don't know.
In
I mean,
spawn.
like, I think at this point, like, do you just say for both teams, like, do you just started like the game like literally just started?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you're St. Clair, like, you had the lead, so you probably don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
For free, essentially.
Although
right?
the lead did
But
come pretty easily. It didn't really feel like too much of
True.
a struggle to get that 1-0
True.
lead. So maybe you feel confident enough that you're able to hold that and gain that back. But
strange.
it
I
is
think that's
strange.
definitely the
It's different compared to something like Valorant or where you can match fix or
match fix.
Not match fix. But what's it? Match medic. Match medic. That's what it's called. Match medic.
I see what you're saying.
Fix the match. That's what I meant. Not match fix. Jeez, man. Come on. No, you can adjust the money, the economy, the rounds, but I don't know if you can do that in COD.
I don't think you can. I mean, if CODcast has been broken forever, I doubt that you can just repair. Hey, I mean, I guess we're gonna get our answer
clean
and see what happens. Look, I mean, we're back to no score. We'll see how both teams play it, but I mean, at least from the onset, it looks like both teams are just gonna play this out like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. I mean, who remembers exposure? Attempt number 1. I don't. I don't. Exposure.
What's that?
What's that?
This is
Zaren's.
Black Ops 6? You still in
No,
that?
Evan. It's 7.
Damn. I mean, they look so similar.
Zaren's having a great start to this remade lobby here. 3-1 frags as well. Here he comes.
All right. Well, it looks like Saints are gonna get the first point again. So I guess it basically is like nothing ever happened because we're in the same spot we just ended. Frags is doing well, and maybe Zara needed that mental reset. You know, like you said, he's been playing very, very strong to start. Continuing to fry is another one going the way of St. Clair. Santi, I mean, this guy has really been picking it up. We saw some great individual plays on Search and Destroy, and he's just continuing it on into map number 3.
So he's going to grab this. What do you call it? The device? Is that what it's called?
We call it the device.
The device?
We call it the device.
The device. I love their neutral term for it. Frag's able to find one, find a second onto Luis, and St. Clair still with the device in hand, able to move through the mid. They kind of have their own pickings here at what site they want to go to. Frags finds one onto Zip, pulls out the pistol, unable to get to the trade, and Cumberland filling up the score feed. And they did score though.
Ooh,
I didn't even
Zaren
notice
with
that.
some,
They slipped that in. It's a 2-0. It's a 2-0 lead.
Zaren with some BM as well. He's clearly feeling himself right now, shooting the body of JT. Bold, I might add, while you're only up 2-0. The series just started. But hey, I mean, you like to see the emotion coming through from Zaren and the rest of the team. Like you said, doing very, very well. As Zaren babysitting the device for now.
Oh, hey, Goody.
He's going to be the beneficiary. And look at that. The rest of the team coming in. And Cootie, I mean, hey, shout out to all the viewers from Cootie's stream who have raided into the channel. So shout out to everyone here. We got, you got C-Watts in chat, Brandon in chat as well. I mean, everybody out here to support the team. Feels they are doing very, very well right now.
It feels like a true family here between COD Acad and COD Varsity. St. Clair feels like they're just spawn trapping Cumberland at this point.
I think that's how you have to play this because, like, with the way you're trying to manipulate the spawns to give yourself a good run, that's really the only way to do it because when you hold the device, like, everyone on the map knows where you are.
Okay.
Right? So it's like you can't hide with it. So I think that's the best way forward is to just try and manipulate spawns, and you have your carrier just wait for the call to come through that spawn's been reset or like manipulated away, you know, make your run. We really see that happen with Varsity, where it does seem like it takes a while for them to find it, or they're like just waiting. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Zarin, or not Zarin, that was Santi, wasn't able to clean that one up, but we'll take it. We continue on. Cumberland.
A lot of friendly fire on Cumberland's part.
Yeah, I know. Let's investigate. Let's check their poly market predictions on this series. But for right now, Zarin.
Oh my goodness!
He's gonna spray and pray onto Louise. St. Clair now back in control. You do have some members of Cumberland in the way though, so this isn't gonna be a clean hit. But I think if you're St. Clair now, I mean, you have a minute 20 left. You just waste as much time as you can.
Yeah, I mean,
bring it into half number 2, where you know you get a side swap. Maybe that's the side you're waiting for. We'll see how it goes. Cumberland retake control. Frag's gonna find another one. No one really in a position to score right away. I mean, Cumberland is gonna retake control, but St. Clair, they already have defenders waiting in the wings.
Yeah, they are gonna pick up this device. They're gonna go back into their spawn and kind of wrap around towards the B lane. Cumberland, they really had to clear out St. Clair from up close in their spawn to have a chance at moving this. Oh,
Santi.
Yeah, great kill. Able to drop the device down for a moment. Allows Frags to find one of his own, and they know this other player is nearby, but what they aren't aware of is Luis's forward position. Cumberland, they're going to make things close, 2-1 here, as the time ticks down to less than 20 seconds in this first half. A very, very close game of overload here on exposure. No way they tie this up with 12 seconds.
Oh, why would you even say that?
Oh, no.
I mean, I will say Cumberland, you know, they've been very patient, but just doing everything right, you know, sending out the advanced, the advanced player. Fortunately, Frags misjudged the position of that Semtex. So still in the hands of Cumberland. Going to get a little bit of overtime here at half number 1 as they still have control of the device. St. Clair trying to find these picks, and I guess that it does come through, so we get to halftime. St. Clair up 2-1, but this one definitely far from over.
Yeah, I think that was, it felt like St. Clair kind of hit the ground running right there in the first half, and Cumberland just played some really stellar defense, able to stop the bleeding at 2 and even take a point of their own and make things a little bit more scary as the time ran out in overtime and the devices dropped there. Zarin, though, 12-7 for the first half. It's a good start for him, and 1 half away from a grand finals victory here in the Varsity Plus Division 4 St. Clair Academy. Can they do it?
You got to come out firing here. I mean, like, I think just getting 1 or 2 quick hits, quick scores, that's going to put you in such a good position for the rest of this half, and I think Cumberland knows that. I mean, they're going to be coming out with that same level of ferocity because, you know, you're fighting for your lives right now. I mean, this is it right here. No second chances. St. Clair going to find 1. Cumberland answer with 2, but St. Clair continuing to fight for this device in mid. J. Will is going to be able to find that pick onto Luis. Trying to overcook a little bit on that wall bounce, but J. Will not fooled. He's going to hold his position in mid. He's going to get absolutely overrun, but can still hold. And with 4 picks going the way of St. Clair, spawns need to come in for Cumberland. This is now St. Clair's first attempt with the device in the second half.
I won't lie to you, Evan. I heard Frag scream out there through the headset, through the game volume. I heard him when he was in that mid-fight there. St. Clair,
feeling it.
They are feeling it. They are confident. Santi has to be feeling confident. A great double for him right there in the mid. This device is hovering back towards this B side. Frags, though, in this forward position, is going to find one onto Luis back in their spawn. Kind of an unknown element here. Frags, going to get spotted out by JT. A good spot. Now they really have to play defense. Cumberland.
They got to be careful here because Cumberland, they're advancing far, and JT, I mean, they're just playing keep away at this point, which, I mean, can only do for so long before the device resets. Santi will shut that down, though.
There it is. Back in the mid.
Just weren't able to really get anything. And St. Clair's still not taking this device. You do waste a lot of time if you're St. Clair, but I
No way.
don't think you can really be comfortable with just burning clock when you can score so fast in a mode like this.
It's tough. St. Clair's gotten so many double kills here in the second half. I mean, Frag's just having a great half. Santi as well, but the device has not really been touched by either side here. Santi in the corner, just not able to finish it off, and now Cumberland move their way up. Trades back and forth. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Now Jay Will finds two. A nice headshot onto Luis, and he's going to get wrapped around on by JT. Zarin got to finish that one off. There you go. Beautiful work from St. Clair to retake this mid position.
But still not taking the device.
No. They know, they understand that they are playing with the lead here. As long as they can frag like they have been all game long.
There we go.
There we go. Finally, the attack might be coming through for St. Clair. They're looking towards that B side.
Yeah, big task, though, for these forward advancers for St. Clair to really find it. Nice switch, the pistol hot swap for Zarin, and that's going to lead to that score. St. Clair now with that 2-goal cushion. That could be enough at this stage of the game, but I think if you're St. Clair, you aren't comfortable until you find at least a couple more at this stage of the game. Frag's going to retake control, and I mean, they're just going to have a clear lane to go here.
No issues whatsoever for this fourth point. That one feels really good if you're St. Clair Academy. 1 minute 30 left now. Zarin, 5-kill spree. Make it, I was going to say make it 6, but Caster cursed it. Santi gets the takeout. Luis in their spawn. Device is going to get picked up by Cumberland right here, but Frag's good for 2 of his own, and that might do it. That might be the final nail in the coffin. 1 minute left now. Luis has to grab this device and make a move, but Cumberland, they don't even want it.
They don't even, I mean, they can't even get to it because St. Clair are doing a really good job at denying them a chance. You do finally get it under control, but guys forward for St. Clair. Zarin in a little bit of a tough spot. Cumberland not dead yet. Ziff is going to find the score, so only down 2, but with 45 seconds left to go. Device in mid. Cumberland is going to camp it, wait for it, but St. Clair, they're just going to rotate in mid, and kind of like we saw at the start of this game. I don't know why Jay Will's got his knife out, but and that's the second time we see that, and now St. Clair, Device in their control, and I mean, Frags, you can just play keep away right now. 23 seconds away from finding yourself the victors of Varsity Plus. Frags will fall. I mean, position is known, and I mean, Cumberland, they're going to have a clear lane to go here, so this one definitely not over yet. It's going to be close. As long as St. Clair can deny Cumberland a chance to retake, they should be able to get this one. Jay Will not able to close it out, though. Frags with the nice double. That should be the dagger, and it is. St. Clair Acad take down Cumberland in sweeping fashion. Your Varsity Plus Call of Duty champions.
Congratulations to St. Clair, Acad, Frag, Santi, Zarin, and JUL. A great night for the team, a great night for St. Clair. I mean, just all around, I mean, they have to feel so proud of themselves, right? You only lose one throughout the entire semester. Crowned champions. St. Clair reigning supreme in both Varsity Premier and Varsity Plus.
I was going to say, I think Cumberland's Call of Duty program just in shambles right now. I mean, you've been swept on both levels by the Varsity Plus and the ACAT team. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're Cumberland. Yeah. But, I mean, like we've been saying all night, is that the St. Clair Call of Duty program is just elite on so many different levels, and we saw it again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, great work all around. It was a close series, though. I will say it was a 3-0, but it was much closer than a sweep scoreline shows you.
Yeah.
Right? It felt like at times Cumberland really had a good opportunity to make this very, very interesting, make this go the distance. But like you said, a great night for St. Clair, a great night for their Call of Duty programs. And, I mean, you couldn't ask for much more in the grand finals.
No, it was exciting all the way through, and drama on all levels, and obviously, we're happy with the result.
I am
over here. It's, another title going to St. Clair. A Call of Duty team program done very well.
Very well.
Very, very well this year, and I think we're expecting even more, in in the coming days, the coming year, I guess not days, the coming months, coming semesters, it's going to be really, really exciting to think about where this team can be
Yeah.
in a couple years.
Yeah, I think that all these players have bright futures in this game. I mean, Frags, especially Santi, Jay Will, those three guys, they have been holding it down all semester and have just been putting on a clinic. And we see them grinding every day. They're on stage every day. They're playing. They're scrimming. They love this game. They love this team. And I think it really shows. I mean, a 3-0 fashion in the grand finals. Not many teams can do that, but St. Clair, they not only did they do it once, they did it twice for good measure.
It's true, and yeah, it's just nice to see. Like I said, and some players, getting some championships as well. Everybody just coming through and finding a way forward. And I think we're gonna have to move forward as well. And yeah, this is like we were saying before. This is probably my last
Potentially, yeah.
stream as a St. Clair employee. So kind of bittersweet. I think it's been a really fun year, a very fun semester for me and everybody else. So obviously, I don't want to make it too much about myself.
No, I mean, hey.
I don't really want to, but I mean, I appreciate everybody for, taking what we've done and enjoying it, accepting me and Patrick. And, it's very nice to hear words of encouragement, and glad that people enjoyed watching us throughout the year. But we'll shout out the team. Thank you, Hayden, for joining me tonight.
Glad to be here.
Landon and Miguel in the back, so another small crew tonight, but we got it done. And Adrian as well.
He stuck around.
Adrian's here all the time.
He stuck around.
How could I forget Adrian? I can't forget our sponsors, though.
Yeah, go for it.
So we got
One last time
Subway,
for you.
Tim Hortons, Alienware, Pre-Fire, the Alumni Association, and, of course, the St. Clair SRC. So thank you very much to the sponsors of St. Clair for keeping the lights on for not just these 2 semesters, but for semesters coming from here on out. And there's so many exciting things planned on the docket for St. Clair. Still some streams left of the semester. You won't see me, but there will be, I think, a couple more CVAL games coming up for our Acad team. I think Varsity has a couple more potentially to go. They should be set up in a game this weekend. So exciting stuff if you're a fan of Valorant. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, hopefully this is not a goodbye, potentially a see you later.
Exactly.
I think. But with that being said, that will wrap up the stream tonight. For one last time, States Nation, thank you very much for watching, and have a great night.
till there's nothing left, so I can lay my demons all to rest. I'm at the point I've got nothing to lose. Is there some other path that I can choose? I understand if you don't wanna stay.